Good day viewers, welcome back to Your World with Klusa Ayu. Today we'll give you several information and here's the news. The United Nations Organization for Refugees predict that in 2022, when refugees are attempting to flee the dire conditions in camps in Bangladesh, would be one of the worst years for the community due to potential sinking of a boat with 180 Rohingya. Here's more information.
The United Nations Organization for Refugees predicts that 2022, when refugees are attempting to flee the dire condition in camps in Bangladesh, would be one of the worst years in the community due to the potential sinking of a boat with 180 Rohingya, most of whom are Muslims. Tens of thousands of Rohingya from Myanmar have fled their nation after its military carried out a brutal campaign in 2017, and now around 1 million of them reside in overcrowded facilities in Muslim-majority Bangladesh. Most Rohingya are refused citizenship and viewed as illegal South Asian immigrants in Myanmar, a country with a majority of Buddhists. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees expressed concern over the weekend that a boat that left Bangladesh at the end of November was still at sea, and that all 180 people on board were likely dead. In 2013 and 2014, the UNHCR believes that more than 700 Rohingya perished or went missing in the Andaman Sea and the Bay of Bengal. Before the most recent event, several hundred people were already presumed dead or missing at the sea this year. 57 Rohingya males landed in Indonesia's Aceh Besar province early on December 25th with the assistance of locals, according to a statement from the International Organization for Migration. The male-only boat is thought to have left from Bangladesh and spent over a month floating at sea, according to the report. An inquiry for comment was not immediately answered by Indonesian officials. In November, two boats carrying 230 Rohingya refugees, including women and children, arrived in the shores of Indonesia's Aceh province. This month, the Sri Lankan Navy rescued 104 Rohingya who had become stranded off the northern coast of the Indian Ocean island.
As Russia's primary holiday of the year is New Year's Day and the Orthodox Christmas on January 7th, special military operation has overtaken traditional holiday decorations in the Russia capital, which the Kremlin depicts as an existential war in the West. Here's more information.
The three Latin letters, C, V, and O, which are currently being employed as frontline military emblems to support the battle in Ukraine, loom on flames outside Gorky Park in Moscow. As parents and kids enter the park to ice skate or visit cafes, nearby traditional holiday decorations and a huge decorative bubble compete for visibility. The special military operation has overtaken traditional holiday decoration in the Russian capital, which the Kremlin depicts as an existential war with the West. Russia's primary holiday of the year is New Year's Day, and on January 7th, Orthodox believers also observe Christmas. A pavilion located inside the park houses a studio where visitors may film holiday and New Year video messages for the military. Children working under adult supervision were adorning cardboard boxes with glitters, bubbles, and pictures of Christmas trees to convey letters and messages to the troops just off Moscow's popular Tverskaya Street. A pavilion was erected on Red Square where people could present gifts and humanitarian items to the military. Outside, upbeat Soviet-era music played, and inside, an elderly woman wrote a supportive note.
South Korean official called the Monday airspace infraction a clear act of provocation, and in retaliation, South Korea sent one of its own surveillance planes across the border and over the territory of the North. Here's more information.
After 5 North Korean drones entered its territory for the first time since 2017, South Korea scrambled aircraft and fired shots, escalating the already tense situation between the neighbors. An official from South Korea called the Monday airspace infraction a clear act of provocation. In retaliation, South Korea sent one of its own surveillance planes across the border and over the territory of the North. Around 10:25 a.m., the drones were initially spotted flying above the northwestern city of Gimpo, according to South Korean authorities. In reaction to the drones, which were said to have been flying for several hours, choppers and fighter jets were deployed, including a Ka-1 light attack aircraft, which apparently crashed about 140 kilometers east of Seoul. After leaving its Wonju base in the country's north to engage North Korean drones, a South Korean Ka-1 fighter jet was engaged in a mishap, according to a Defense Ministry official. Its 2 pilots, who managed to flee before the accident, and are currently in the hospital. The other 4 flew towards to the west coast, and one of the 5 North Korean drones flew close to Seoul, the capital of South Korea. Lee Seung-oh, a South Korean official with the country's Joint Chiefs of Staff, told the media briefing that the military operated assets to shut down the drones, but did not state if they had been successful. He said South Korea initially fired warning shots when it first detected the drones. For the first time since the drone thought to be on a spy mission crashed and was discovered on a mountain close to the border in 2017, North Korean drones have entered South Korean airspace. According to South Korean sources, North Korea has roughly 300 drones. Following a joint air drill by South Korea and the US a few days earlier, North Korea also launched 2 short-range ballistic missiles. In recent weeks, Pyongyang has demonstrated its military prowess by unleashing a volley of missiles in test launches that have alarmed South Korea, Japan, and their Western allies.
After last month's election resulted in a hung parliament, a former Maoist guerrilla who oversaw a 10-year uprising against Nepal's Hindu monarchy was chosen a prime minister for a 3rd time in coalition and the main opposition. Here's more information.
After last month's election resulted in a hung parliament, a former Maoist guerrilla who oversaw a 10-year uprising against Nepal's Hindu monarchy was chosen as prime minister for a 3rd time in the coalition with the main opposition. According to party officials, Puspa Kamal Dahal, who continues to go by alias Prachanda, which means terrible or fierce, will lead the new administration for the first 2 years of its 5-year term with the backing of the opposition Communist UML party and a few other smaller organizations. In 2025, Prachanda, who succeeds Shar Bahadur Doba of the Nepali Congress Party, would leave government to make room for the UML to assume the position. A few hours after Prachanda unexpectedly quit the ruling coalition, headed by Doba of the Nepali Congress Party, the new coalition assumes power. Doba declined to support Prachanda for the position of prime minister. Both Doba and Prachanda ran for office in November, on the promise to maintain the previous collaboration for a number of years. The Maoist Center Party of Prachanda won 32 seats in the House of Representatives, which has 275 members. The remaining seats, needed for the 138 majority, will be controlled by smaller organizations. The UML now holds 78 seats. The primary opposition, which will hold 89 seats, will be the Nepali Congress Party. According to the analyst, Prachanda's large coalition of allies made it improbable that it would bring peace to the nation. He also has significant financial difficulties. This is the greatest level of inflation in 6 years, at over 8%. Being sandwiched between China and India, Nepal also has to deal with declining foreign exchange reserves and a growing reliance on imports of essential products. Since the 239-year-old monarchy was overthrown in 2008, there have been 10 government transitions in Nepal.
After this break, we'll still give you several more information. Stay tuned on New World.